Hello, this is Jeff from Baron Leathercraft, and today we are going to take these solid brass bars, cut them into pieces like these, engrave them into custom leather stamps like these, so we can create leather impressions like these. And we'll be doing it all with the ACMER 100 watt MOPA Fiber Laser. Wait, don't go anywhere. I'm only kidding. ACMER is not sponsoring this video, but this machine has been really great for me, and so has the company, so I'd figured we'd give it a moment to shine. Anyway, let's get back to making these stamps. I went ahead and cut the brass into blanks. Now don't feel you need to start with brass bar stock like I did. There are plenty of brass blanks available that will save you this step completely. We're going to make two different types of stamps today. The one on the left is with a vector image, and the one on the right is with a depth map. And they both have very different techniques. So I just wanted to let you know that. We're going to start off with the vector image. All right, we are inside LightBurn. This is the software of choice that I use to do all my laser work. So let's go ahead and set this up. Now I know that my engraving material, which is brass, is 1 inch, approximately 1 inch. That's what I tried to cut it at. So I'm going to go ahead and create a 1 inch square. And there we go. Now this square is 1 inch. I'm going to go ahead and center it. And now I'm going to create another square that's a little bit bigger than that. And the reason is because I want to engrave further than the actual material. Because what happens is, if I don't extend the laser beyond the material, it'll create a wall within the engraving, kind of like a frame. Now, if that's what you're going for, then great. Your artwork will dictate that. But that's not the case. You'll understand more as I go on and explain this. So I'm going to create another square. I'm going to just duplicate this square. And I'm going to extend it by holding Control in the corner. And that should be enough, if not too much, actually. We'll gauge that as we go on. Now I have the two squares, one representing the material, one representing how far the laser will extend. And at this point, we want to go ahead and find an image. I'm going to create an ohm symbol. So here it is. It's huge. And I want to bring that down to where it fits into my artwork. So I'm going to actually center it. All right, perfect. Now I want to convert it into a vector image. So I'm going to hit Control T, and it brings up my trace image software that's embedded inside LightBurn, and I'm going to hit OK, because the default looks excellent. So there it is. I want it to be a fill. So I'm going to personally choose to use this turquoise color. And I'm going to go up to the layer section and go to fill. We have to reverse the artwork though, because right now the laser is going to engrave the ohm symbol, and it's going to make an indentation. We want it to do the opposite. We want it to actually engrave around the ohm, so the ohm symbol is extruding from the brass. And the way we're going to do that is going to go to the shape builder, and we're going to create a square of vector. And what it's going to do is we're going to superimpose it like that on top of the ohm, which makes the ohm symbol disappear. It becomes empty space, so it's going to end up engraving everything around it instead of the actual symbol. Now that everything's separate, I also want to change the inside square to tool number 1. That way, when I frame it on the fiber laser, I'm able to frame it with the tool layer. And I'm also going to set the outside layer, tool number 2, so I could reveal both of them as I'm lining things up on the fiber laser. And now I'm going to center this square once again, the turquoise square. So that's basically the setup, but now I need to set up the settings for what we're doing. And since we're doing a vector image, I'm going to go ahead and go to my material library, and I'm going to set this blue turquoise square up to a setting that I already have, which is called Vector Settings for Deep Engravings. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit Assign. Now, if you notice when I did that, now my settings for that layer are complete. And these are the settings. If you want to pause the camera for a second and take a look at that, this is what I'm going to be doing. Okay, now it looks done, doesn't it? We're ready to engrave. But don't forget this. This is like the most important aspect of it. Write this down, put it on a note that's hanging on your monitor. This is what you want to do. Remember, this is a stamp, so you need to invert it. You need to turn it around, because otherwise, if you don't do that, you're going to stamp something, and of course you're stamping it, it's going to end up backwards. So go ahead and click on your layer, and up here in LightBurn, you see this? This is actually, we'll flip it. This will mirror it horizontally. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that. That's what you need to do. Don't forget to do that. All right, let's get going. Before you engrave, go ahead and clean off the surface of the brass. I use 99% alcohol, but just give it a rub down before you go ahead and engrave. Don't forget to focus the laser. I'm personally using a 110mm lens on here, so my focal distance is 21.8. For those who don't know, those two red lines are the tooling layers that we created for the squares. That's why we're able to see them. They're actually act as guides. So this is how we end up framing our material and centering it. I'm not using a jig under these circumstances. I'm just doing it by eye. I did a time-lapse recording of the engraving. The engraving took around 2 hours altogether. After that, I went ahead and did a cleaning pass, but I didn't show you guys that in LightBurn. But just remember, a cleaning pass is important. As you saw, it cleaned up the surface pretty well. This is the stamp right out of the laser. So it came out really nice, but we're going to go ahead and throw it in the tumbler. This is the Vevor magnetic tumbler, and for me it's become an essential shop tool. When I'm engraving brass with the fiber laser, it helps clean and finish the metal quickly. It takes off those sharp edges and rough corners. Not only does it make the brass look better, but it also helps prevent the stamp from damaging the leather. Here's the completed stamp created out of the vector image. That method raises the artwork above the surrounding brass, producing a clean stamp that's perfect for many applications. Now let's take it a step further. Instead of raising the artwork, we're going to engrave away the background and create a true sculpted relief using a depth map. When this stamp is pressed into leather, the background is pushed down while the artwork remains raised, creating a much more dimensional impression. Depth map allows us to generate smooth transitions, contours, and shading automatically. Okay, we're back in LightBurn, so we can set up the engraving for the depth map leather stamp. There are 5 different layers. The first layer, which is in blue, let me go ahead and center it. It's now in the center of our work area. Remember, this is a tool layer, so it's going to also control the red laser that's on the fiber laser. That's the one that helps you guide the artwork and center everything. This is also the same size as the vector engraving that we're going to be creating, which is also set up to overlap the actual brass. That way we don't have any frame on the brass. We want the vector area to engrave deep. The second layer is also a tool layer. It's this orange one here. Let me go ahead and center it. Now it's also in the center of our work area. If you notice, it consists of a circle and a square. The square on the outside in orange represents the actual size of the stamp. The circle in the inside represents the shape of the depth map that's going to end up being engraved in the center. This way, since you have it on the tool layer, the circle will show up on the brass, and it will make it a lot easier for you to center the artwork onto the brass. The next layer is the actual depth map, so let me go ahead and center that. That one's simple enough, it lays in the center, but it's also not the next layer we're going to actually engrave. Now let me share the settings I'm using for my depth map. Now I'm using a 100 watt MOPA Fiber Laser with a 110mm lens. Of course, I'm also using a cleanup pass. It happens every 10 frames or 10 passes, and these are the settings for the cleanup pass. Cleanup passes are important. Don't forget to add them. The next layer we're going to engrave is the actual vector image. That's the one that's here in turquoise. Now let me explain a little bit about this one. If you notice, there's a circle in the center. Why? Because it needs to leave room for the depth map. If we didn't have that circle in the center, the vector image would just engrave on the entire square of brass, and it would just whittle down the entire thing. What we need is the center not to be engraved at all, because we plan on engraving the depth map in the center. And it's going to protrude out of the brass. And the way we're going to do that is by using this turquoise vector image. It's going to whittle around the circle and create an extruding circle. So let's go ahead and put that in the center. The final actual layer is a cleaning layer, and that cleaning layer is going to go in the center, and that'll be done last. That's going to actually clean the engraving of the depth map after we're done. So to actually set this up right now, I'm going to shut that layer off. I'm going to also shut off the depth map layer. And that's how we're going to engrave it right now. And when we're done with the actual vector engraving, then we're going to engrave the depth map on top. That's how we're going to go about engraving it. Okay, let's do some stamping now. First, I'm going to go ahead and wet my leather. I'm using 7-ounce leather here. Let's go ahead and let's first do one I know works well, and that's the ohm symbol. I'm using my trusty Vevor 1-ton press here, which has been working out fantastically for me. I find that their products last. I have several of their items, and every one of them is really held up. You're supposed to mount these, by the way, so I don't have mine mounted, so I'm just going to do my best I can to push down. You want to give it as much pressure as possible. I find I like using the Arbor press better than using a hammer at this point, because you could really zone in on where you want it, and there's no vibration. Oh, there we go. So there's the first stamp. Look how nice that came out. Let's go ahead and use this stamp. Now with this, I'm going to take this piece of stiffener. So it's basically just cardstock, but it's like a strong grained cardstock. So I'm going to put that under the leather. It just helps you imprint. All right, let's take a look at that. Excellent. And that'll really pop when we put the antiquing in, but I want you to see before and after. Very nice. A lot of detail. That's one thing I noticed with stamps and leather. The leather really adheres to detail. Every little ripple that's in your stamp is going to show up. One of the biggest things I learned while making these depth map stamps is that deeper is not always better. In fact, if you engrave too deep, the leather may never reach the fine details at the bottom of the stamp. When that happens, all the detail you spend time creating simply doesn't transfer to the leather. Let me show you what I mean. The example circled in red was engraved too deep. The leather compressed against the higher portions of the stamp, but it never fully reached the detailed areas in the center, so most of that detail disappeared in the final impression. The example circled in yellow is much closer to what we're after. The depth is shallow enough that the leather can conform to the shape of the stamp while still creating strong shadow and crisp detail. Now look at the example circled in green. The interesting thing here is that the engraving depth is actually very similar to the yellow example. The difference is surface area. Because this stamp is mounted in a larger square block of brass, there's simply more material contacting the leather. That makes it harder to apply the same pressure, so the leather doesn't compress into the details quite as effectively. So depth isn't the only thing that matters. The overall shape and contact area of the stamp can affect how much detail transfers into the leather as well. This becomes especially important when you're working with depth maps. A depth map is simply a grayscale image. LightBurn interprets those grayscale values as depth information. Generally speaking, darker areas are engraved deeper, while lighter areas are engraved shallower. The challenge is figuring out how deep the finished engraving is actually going to be. For that reason, I typically leave my engraving settings alone and adjust the number of passes instead. I already know that these settings engrave brass cleanly, so if I want a shallower stamp, I simply reduce the pass count. If you're unsure, err on the side of being too shallow rather than too deep. A stamp that's slightly shallow will usually still produce a great impression. One more thing to keep in mind, a lot of leather crafters use antique paste after stamping, and I plan on doing the same thing with these. Antique paste settles into the low areas of the impression and creates its own shadows. That means a stamp doesn't necessarily have to be extremely deep to create dynamic looking results. In many cases, the antique paste will enhance the contrast and give the illusion of additional depth. So don't automatically assume that deeper is better. A slightly shallow stamp combined with antique paste can often produce a cleaner, more detailed impression than a stamp that's engraved too deep. There we go. This is the antiquing this is the resist I'm going to use. This stuff has never failed me. It's great. All right. I have it in this little container. This is synthetic wool that I'm using to smear it. I'm going to try to spread it around evenly on the wool. Let's go ahead and apply it. Now I like to wait at least 2 hours before I add the antiquing. This is what it looks like when you first apply the resist. It'll come back to a natural color once it dries. Alright, it's been about 2 hours, so now we're going to antique this. I'm going to be using dark brown antique finish by Fiebing. This stuff is great. If you're a leather crafter, I'm sure you probably know about it. If you don't, it's very cool stuff. Looks like I probably have enough to do everything here. Get it into the designs really good. When you go to wipe it off, don't push down too hard. So, overall, I'd call this experiment a success. The vector stamps were straightforward, while the depth map stamps required a bit more experimentation. As we discovered, finding the right engraving depth is critical if you want all that detail to transfer into the leather. But that's exactly why projects like this are worth doing. I learned quite a bit during this process, particularly when it came to balancing engraving depth with detail transfer. Some approaches work better than others, but those lessons are exactly what makes the next project easier. And of course, it's always fun to use the ACMER 100 watt MOPA Fiber Laser.